G'day guys, it's Ragnarok here. Today I'm on the beta. Yes, I got beta access, which is very exciting. I've been playing it for a few days, leveling up a bit, exploring some new zones, new content, new classes, new spells. It's been awesome. So today basically I just wanted to show you a couple of beta things, and for a class I'm going to show you Demonology just because I think it's one of the coolest new redesigned specs in the beta. And it's also probably one of the most powerful specs. So yeah, just be warned, like anything I say will likely to change between now and release. So, but I think the class is at least 80% there now. So a lot of what you see here is very likely to be in live. But yeah, they haven't tuned numbers or anything yet, so we won't worry too much about that. So I mained Demo for a lot of Legion, so I'm going to tell you mainly the differences in Legion compared to now and the improvements. Overall, I think Demonology is actually way better than what it was in Legion. Legion was pretty clunky, kind of boring, whereas now it's there's a lot more stuff happening, a lot more demons, a lot more explosions, a lot more stuff dying, which is really cool. So first thing I'll go is the spells, and then we'll go into the talents. So Axtos, basically your command demon ability. For the Felguard it's Axtos now, it's not the Fellstorm anymore. So that's one change. Banish is the same, that's a talent. Coil Stalker is pretty much the same. You got your Hellstone, so well. Demon Bolt, this is a new spell. It's very different from the Demon Bolt you might think Legion was. No, this is completely different. This is more like a Pyroblast or a Soulfire. Basically, you can hard cast, it's a very long cast, so you'd never probably do it unless it's like at the start of a raid boss or something. And yeah, basically you rely on this thing called Demonic Cores. Here they are here. So basically when you have Wild Imps expire, or your Dreadstalkers expire, they give you a Demonic Core. Well, Wild Imps have a 10% chance and the Dreadstalkers have a 100% chance. With that Demonic Core, makes the Demon Bolt instant cast, does a ton of damage, generates 2 soul shards, GG. You can only have a max of 4 charges though, so make sure you spend them when you get them, because you don't want them to exceed 4 charges, because then you're sort of missing out on these really nice procs. Because this is basically the difference between you being the bottom damage to you being the top damage. It's a bit RNG, but the proc rate is pretty reliable with the Dreadstalkers having a 100% chance, and every now and then you'll, because you got so many imps, like you'll definitely get them anyway, pretty much every fight, even without the Dreadstalkers. Alright, so moving on. Demonic Gateway is the same, Drain Life's the same, Slave Demon is the same. This is the most useless spell ever. I can't even see invisible people anymore, so I don't know what's going on there. Fear is the same. Gul'dan, biggest difference is only uses 3 shards, so it means 3 wild imps. It doesn't use 4 anymore, so yeah, you just cast this at 3 shards rather than 4 shards. Funnel's pretty much the same. Implosion, this is baseline now. Sends all your imps in to explode. You might have remembered this being a talent in Legion. It's a little bit different. The imps don't go in all at once and do one giant explosion. They sort of go in one at a time really quickly. I guess it's less bursty that way and a bit less broken. However, there is a bug right now where if you spam this button, the imps explode more than once, so a few Demolocks are abusing that at the moment just to pump numbers out, which is all good fun, but it'll get fixed soon. Mortar Coil, pretty much the same. Oh, it's a talent as well. Summoning's the same. Shadow Bolt, a bit more powerful than what it is in Legion. Still generates a soul shard, basically your filler spell. Shadow Fury, well this is baseline for all Warlock specs, which is cool. It's cool to have an extra stun. It's kind of annoying to use though. It doesn't have a 40 yard range, just a 35 yard. Stums all enemies as an AoE, which is handy for like Mythic Plus and PvP. It's got a cast time though, so just be aware of that, and a big cooldown. But there is a talent for it that reduces the cooldown if you enjoy using this spell. This is basically your battle res, that's the same. Summon Demon, all your demons are the same. Felguard's still your main pet as Demo. Here's probably your big cooldown, this guy here. Summon Demonic Tyrant. So basically, he increases the time on all the current demons by 15 seconds. After that, if you summon in additional demons while he's up, he buffs them by 15% basically. And he also casts Shadow Bolt at like an AoE at all the enemies that you're fighting. really fast, does tons of damage. So yeah, big cooldown, really cool spell. Basically the idea is get as many imps and demons out as you can, and then summon this guy to keep them up even longer and get even more demons out, so you can literally get an army. It's not like Legion where you're getting like 7, 8, 9 demons, maybe 10, 12 if you're lucky. This is more like 20, 30 demons, so definitely feels more like an army rather than a group of demons, so which huge improvement. Unending breath, pretty much the same, 20% speed and water breathing, which is nice. Unending results pretty much the same, immune to silence, 40% damage reduction. Mastery increases your damage by demons. Soul Leech pretty much the same. Soul Link pretty much the same. Soul Shards, you know what they do. Alright, let's go into the talents. So, basically, in the talents, we've got a few things. You notice PvP talents over here. That's part of the new patch that went live today. I'll go over those in a minute. So, first tier is basically AoE tier. You can make your Dreadstalkers have their Dreadbite AoE, which is really awesome, does tons of damage. It's pretty much my preferred talent. This is basically a second Demonic Strength is your second Fellstorm that does 400% increased damage to the normal one, and it doesn't share the same cooldown, which is nice, so you can spam this and then spam that, which is great. Then you've got the Bile Scourge Bombers, just a cool new AoE spell. Kind of crappy at the moment, doesn't do that much damage, and it's really easy for things to move out of it, so I think it's the weakest talent on this row, but hopefully they make it a bit more viable as time goes on. It does have a 100-yard range though, so it's really cool if you're trying to get an AoE really far off in the distance somewhere. Demonic Calling, basically this is a pretty cool spell. Makes your Dreadstalkers have no cast time and cost no shards if it procs. So Shadow Bolt, Demon Bolt basically proc this, and you'll be casting those anyway, so it's a really handy talent to have. Power Siphon, 30-second cooldown. Basically it sacrifices 2 wild imps to generate 2 charges of Demonic Core. Really cool if you want to play like the Demonic Core Demon Bolt sort of builds, so if you want to, rather than casting heaps of demons, and play a bit more nuky with the Demon Bolt, that's a really cool talent to have. 30-second cooldown's pretty nice. Then you got your traditional Doom. Haven't actually tested this talent out. Let's actually do that. Pretty sure this can be cast on multiple things at once still. Yeah, I remember they had a limit on it to 1 target, but yeah, it looks like they removed that because no one's using it. So yeah, pretty cool. Nothing interesting. It basically expires after 30 seconds, which is a really long time, but then does about 6k damage. So I can see it being useful, but it looks like the most boring talent on this tier. Yeah, 6k damage. Yeah, and it doesn't spawn an imp or anything special like it used to. So yeah, I'd say go for one of these. Next tier we got pretty much the same talents as Legion. It's just moved down to level 45. Tier 60 we got the Dreadstalkers. They basically do additional, well they don't do additional, sorry, they make you do additional damage to Shadow Flame damage. So Shadow Flame damage, the only spells that do that are your Demon Bolt, your Implosion, and your Hand of Gul'dan. Shadow Bolt is just shadow damage, so that doesn't count, so just be aware of that. But it is a nice buff to have, especially if you're running the Demon Bolt build. Soul Strike, really handy spell. It's a great way to get your demon straight into the fight without having to worry about a pet attack macro or anything. 50-yard range, really cool. He literally just flies in from out of nowhere, strikes a target, does a fair decent amount of damage, and it's a free soul shard. And on a 10-second cooldown, that's pretty good. It's just like, damn, I just need that extra soul shard. That'll give you that extra soul shard. Summon Vile Demon, basically it's another demon. Comes out, 15 seconds, similar to a Dreadstalker, but it's those new demons you saw in Argus, those vile ones. Some people got lucky enough to get as a mount. Yeah, really cool, does a ton of damage. Also good to have when you summon your Tyrant. It buffs this demon nicely as well. Alright, tier 75 you got Pretty much the same spells, Demonic Circle. Oh yeah, this is also 2 separate spells now, so if you select this, see we got Demonic Circle, and Demonic Teleport is actually a different spell, see? So I use this, and boom. So see the different cooldowns, different spells. So you've got that back Warlock, so I know a lot of people wanted that, which is nice. Coil, exactly the same. Dark Fury, basically just decreases your cooldown of Shadow Fury, which is your AoE stun by 15 seconds. So instead of being a minute, it's only a 45-second cooldown, so it's good to have in Mythic Plus where you want to stun all the time. Next tier, nothing too interesting. You still got your Grimoire of Service demons, so if you want your second field guard, you still got that option. Soul Conduit, if you like that RNG element of having your random soul shard refund, you still got that. It's been nerfed to 15% now compared to the 20% it was before. Pretty boring talent, but an easier talent. But if you just want to go passive, I'd choose Inner Demons. Really cool. Summons a random imp for every 10 seconds. And the cool part is they have a 10% chance to summon an additional demon to fight you for 15 seconds. Now when it says additional demon, it literally means any random demon. So sometimes you'll get one of those little dog things, or one of those demonic core hounds, or you'll get... I've even seen like a prince, a demon prince commander guy come out. He kind of looks like Archimond or something, and he doesn't do insane damage or anything, but he just looks cool. But then again, maybe he will do insane damage, maybe they'll make it so if you're lucky enough to get him, your damage will spike. So yeah, most people run with this talent just to always have imps out and those random additional ones if you're lucky. Now tier 100, very interesting tier. Sacrifice Souls, pretty much your most boring talent, but it's good for single target. Basically increases the damage of your Shadow Bolt and Demon Bolt every time you spend a soul shard. So spend 5 soul shards and then boom, you got a 25% buff to your Demon Bolt and your Shadow Bolt for 10 seconds, and as long as you keep spending soul shards, that buff will always stay up. So yeah, it's good if you, especially if you're running the Demon Bolt build. Demon Consumption, basically if you want to destroy all your imps, this is a pretty cool spell. It basically buffs the crap out of the Tyrant's Shadowbolt volley, so it just does a super strong AoE, much stronger than what the imps would do. But single target, yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about this. I'd stick to one of the others. And then you got Nether Portal. This is basically the coolest talent ever if you just want as many demons as possible. So big cooldown, 3 minutes, but basically what you do is you tear open the portal to the Twisting Nether, and then you try and spend as many soul shards as you can. So every time you spend one, a demon will come out, and then it'll basically, it's a good time to use right before you use your Demonic Tyrant. So all those cool demons you get out of the portal, the Tyrant will just keep them up for 15 seconds longer, which will be really cool. Alright, and that's all the talents there, and then you got your PvP talents. I'll go over this pretty quick, there's nothing too special about it. Basically, you can only select 3 talents from all the talents you had before, and the 4th one being a utility. So this one's basically choose your CC immunity, and the other 3 all share the same pool of talents. So all these talents, you might notice, these are just the same talents you had before in your honor talents. There's nothing new or special here, unfortunately. Hopefully they'll add some new cool ones, they'll be exciting, but for now I think they're just using this as a test. So yeah, you basically pick the 3 you want. You can even pick the 3 that were on the same tier before, like you can have your Pleasure Through Pain, for example, and your Imp one, and your Fell Hunter one, which were on the same tier before, and have all 3 of those if you'd like. There wouldn't be much point because you can't have those 3 pets out at once, but yeah, the option's there. Go nuts. Same, you can have the 3 curses, like the Fragility, the Cut Tongues, and the Weakness. So yeah, you got a bit more flexibility into what you can have going at once, which is cool, but less I don't know, I suppose you still got the choice, but you just can't have as many going at once, which is kind of better in a way. I like the idea of just, here's a ton of options, choose 3 sort of thing. I reckon that's cool, and hopefully they'll add more options in the future that'll make it more interesting. And then here's your war mode. All that really does, turn it on, you basically phase into a PvP server, similar to our normal server works when you go /PvP, and it increases the outdoor talents. So you can only turn this on and off in Orgrimmar if you're on Horde, and Stormwind if you're on Alliance. I'll just fly out of Orgrimmar real quick. Hopefully it doesn't crash or anything, because beta's known to do weird stuff like that. And you'll see a buff appear when I go out into the world. Yep, there it is. So basically, experience gain from killing monsters and completing quests increased by 15%. So that's the buff it gives you for having this turned on. And that's just to basically motivate people to get into the world PvP who wouldn't normally want to do it. And also if you die or get into a battle and it sort of sidetracks you from questing, that 15% bonus will make up for the time loss sort of thing. So I think that's one of the reasons why they put that in as well. And apparently at endgame content it counts 15% more gold and world quest rewards like resources and Azurite. So yeah, a lot of benefits out of that. A really nice reward, really good introduction to the game. And I saw some other things saying, like, you know, if you kill 10 of the enemy faction, players that is, without dying, then you get a stat buff, basically more healing and more damage. So you're a bit harder to kill and you do more damage, but you're also worth more if one of the enemy kills you. And I think you're marked on the map so everyone can track you down and find you, and you'll likely get ganked at that point. But just a really cool system, just to add another layer of PvP fun to the game and sort of bring back world PvP to its glory, because the last few expansions sort of been non-existent or just really broken and unbalanced, which has been a shame. Legion's probably the worst. Like, you know, people were one-shotting everyone, so there was really no battle. It was just like, oh, here's a gank, done. And yeah. Anyway, very exciting tips for Demonology. Hope you guys thought that was a good video. Just remember, a lot of stuff's bugged, like, oh, this is missing here. So if you got beta, jump in, play, give it a go. I guarantee you it'll be one of the more fun classes to play. You just feel so powerful with an army of demons. And yeah, hopefully when it goes live it will still be a really fun spec and won't go all boring like it did in Legion. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. I'll probably make more videos soon about other classes in the beta, as well as some beta content, mainly on the changes and system changes, and hopefully I can see some of this new PvP stuff and I'll make a video around that, testing out the system. Hopefully I'm good enough to get 10 kills in a row and see what happens from there. Alright, thanks guys.